borders as it tracks down any potential crossings into Ghana by more than 1,800 convicts who broke jail in Nigeria and still on the run.
When you see strange people whom are not Ghanaians, we will want you to report to the nearest immigration service office or the Ghana Police Service. Let every Ghanaian be also on security alert.
We are live in Nigeria as authorities there launch an international manhunt for the convicts following fears some may attempt to flee to Ghana to escape recapture.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Gasem Cement, the nation builder, as well as Vodafone. Well, tonight, see something, say something. Well, every Ghanaian, particularly if you live across any of our borders, must remain vigilant tonight. That's according to the Ghana Immigration Service. And they're asking you to report any suspicious activity involving foreigners to the nearest immigration office or to the police. Why? Because tonight, a joint team of police, military, and immigration officials who have been patrolling the country's borders are still on high alert, including tracking the potential crossings into Ghana of some 1,800 convicts who broke jail in Nigeria. There are fears tonight that some may attempt to flee to Ghana to escape recapture. We're hearing from the Immigration Service on the series of activities they're rolling out across the borders to ensure that none of these convicts make their way into Ghana. In Nigeria itself, this is a major issue as taking on an international dimension, and they're tracking down these convicts in that part of Nigeria, with the security officers already working with the Ghanaian counterparts to get to these individuals who broke jail last week, Monday. What do we know so far about this? More than 1,800 inmates of a prison in southern Nigeria escaped after heavily armed men attacked the facility in the early hours of the morning. This is just exactly a week ago today. Now, the attackers used explosives to make their way into the Owerri prison in the state of Imo before starting a gun battle with prison guards. The National Corrections Authority announced formally in a statement that the government buildings in the town of Owerri itself also came under attack at the same time. No group has so far taken responsibility for the attack, but the region is known for being home to a number of separatist groups. The Nigerian Inspector General of Police blamed the paramilitary wing of one of them, the Eastern Security Network, for the assault. Now, this has become a sub-regional issue, and Ghana is already taking measures to avert this becoming part of what we have to deal with locally. We've been speaking to the Immigration Service on this today as they tighten patrols along our country's borders. I wanted to listen to Head of Public Affairs at the Ghana Immigration Service, Michael Amakwata, who's been detailing the work that immigration is doing currently, including working with transport operators, community leaders across the country's borders as a part of this broad, wide-ranging effort to ensure that none of these convicts come into Ghana.
We monitored it on the international media landscape, and even without waiting for an official communique from our counterparts in Nigeria, we had to take action to protect our borders by ensuring that we alert our commanders and our officers to be on high alert and also to be on the lookout for such people who may attempt to enter the country, especially through these unapproved routes. And so immediately the Comptroller General calls to be released their message to all officers at the controls. Before this security alert, during the lockdown with the border closure, especially along the northern and even the eastern and western frontiers, we have joint operations currently ongoing with the military, with the police, with Customs Division of the GRA or is about border protection and the kinds of threats that we want to prevent from coming into our country. So yes, enough men we have at all the major frontiers, and they are working 24/7. So this is just to alert them that there is the possibility of this escape convict from entering into Ghana, because definitely whilst they broke in jail in Nigeria, they wouldn't stay. So we just want to take that preemptive action to ensure that even if there's an attempt to enter Ghana, our men would have been properly oriented and to be ready to prevent them from entering or to intercept them if they should.
So what then are the practical measures that you are taking?
Well, the practical measures, I cannot mention them on air, but the fact is we are on the ground, and then we know the terrain because that's where we are and have been working, and we are just psyching our people up and also taking any other measures that we think will help. And on the strength of this release too, we are also engaging border community residents who are in the terrain with us to, as it were, supply us with any information about movements along any of the unapproved routes or pillars or beats. Then we are also engaging transport operators, because definitely if anybody is able to enter illegally, he needs to be transported to the town or to the city centers. And from previous operations where we've intercepted bus loads of non-Ghanaians, and we have been talking to them that anytime they encounter such people, they should refer them to immigration for the necessary documentations to be done. And other key stakeholders like hoteliers and landlords, we are also, by this release, also trying to reiterate our earlier information to them about the need to ensure landlords that when tenants come and they are non-Ghanaians, they should first of all satisfy themselves that these people are properly documented by the Ghana Immigration Service. Otherwise, they do not have any business deal with them. They should refer them to immigration, or they should bring them to the Ghana Immigration Service or to any nearest police station.
Now, the challenge that the Ghana Immigration Service is facing currently is how do these convicts look? Do they have their pictures? It's appearing that we don't have any information on that yet, as in Ghana, and the sheer number of convicts involved, more than 1,800. How do you even know if any person crossing into Ghana is one of these convicts who's making his way and on the run, fugitive, and making his way into Ghana? It's a big challenge for the Ghana Immigration Service tonight, but the spokesperson for the Immigration Service says their lack is that the borders are closed. So anybody making an attempt to cross into Ghana is breaking the law and will be treated as somebody breaking Ghana's laws, and that could provide an avenue not to even question if they are part of the 1,800 people, but simply arrest them and screen them against what the Nigerian counterparts have provided us.
Now the borders are closed, so there's no way anybody can walk boldly to the main gate to be profiled and to be admitted into Ghana. So now what is likely to happen is they may want to enter through these unapproved routes. And we don't need to ask, are you a Ghanaian or are you a foreigner? Even if you're a Ghanaian, you are not supposed to enter the country. So we have to return you back to where you are coming from. So that is not much of a big problem when we know the borders are closed and we are only there to deter people from entering or to repatriate them if they should dare enter the country. Because, mind you, it's not just about escape convicts, but then whoever is coming may be a possible carrier of the COVID virus. And we do not want to increase our numbers with fresh importations from ex-convicts who are running into our country, and we don't even know whether these people have been well reformed in their prison so that they become positive visitors to our country, or they are coming to further engage in whatever send them, whether rape or murder or whatever. So that's why we're giving the alert. Yes, otherwise we're on the ground and we are studying and trying to pick up intelligence from the other end.
We're also learning a bit more about the challenge that the Immigration Service has to deal with many unapproved routes across the country's borders tonight, of course, which many the Immigration Service officials themselves are worried may become the route of choice for some of these 1,800 convicts who may want to cross into Ghana just to escape recapture. Our head of the security desk will join us shortly because we've done some extensive work about these porous borders, and we'll get into that shortly. But I want to go live now to Nigeria. I want to bring in Ayutepe Kuteyi, who is the Channels TV correspondent for Imo State, and that's the state where the jailbreak happened, southeast Nigeria. Thank you very much, Kuteyi, for your time here on Joy 99.7 FM. Can you hear me?
Good evening, Evans. Thank you very much.
Great,
I can hear you clearly.
great to have you.
Evans. Thank you very much.
So tell me, we understand that it's been a week. It's a week today since this happened, and the Nigerian authorities have more than 100 of these convicts have been either recaptured or surrendered to the authorities, correct?
Okay, let me explain to you. Like you rightly said, it's a week today when this ugly incident happened in Owerri, the Imo State capital, when about 1,844 inmates were illegally freed from the Owerri Correctional Center by gunmen. And since then, as at the time when the attack happened, the Correctional Service has about 1,849 people in the Correctional Center. Well, and about 1,844 left. So as at today, when I spoke to the public relations officer of the Correctional Center, in the Correctional Center at this moment, they have about 103 back, people that came back willingly. People that came back. That was what the public relations person said. People that came back willingly. Don't forget that after the attack, the federal government delegation that came to Imo State to assess the level of devastation at the Owerri prison, Owerri Correctional Service, the minister says they were going to grant amnesty to fleeing inmates that come back willingly on their own without being rearrested. And that means when they come back, they are not going to try them again. So if you come back and you have 3 months to leave the correctional center, you will leave after 3 months. But if you have 3 months and you are rearrested, you have to start all over again. Just 2 days ago, the federal government, through the Nigeria Correctional Service, listed the pictures and names of the fleeing inmates. And they've also added all over the pictures and all the names to all the security agencies in this country, including Interpol, to ensure that anywhere they see these inmates, they are rearrested and brought back to the custodial center.
So, do we know if any have been recaptured and how many?
That's what I'm telling you. The recapture, that's the rearrest. We've not had anyone rearrested for now. As I'm talking to, we've not heard. But what we know is that some people came back willingly on their own. That's what we've been able to gather.
Has any group or person taken responsibility for this attack on the correctional center, on this prison?
No, not at all. Not at all. Even though the federal police and the Inspector General of Police, the former Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, who was in Imo, then said from preliminary investigations, the members of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOP, and the Eastern Security Network might be the one responsible for the attack, even though the group have already denied that involvement in the attack.
You mentioned that the Nigerian authorities are working with Interpol to track these convicts down. It tells us And there's a reason why here in Ghana there's an alert that has been issued by Immigration Service that the Nigerian authorities themselves are looking at this from an international angle. And
Yes.
that the fear is that some of these inmates, we may take advantage of the porous borders across the sub-region and simply escape into countries like Ghana and others, correct?
Yes, yeah, that's why they have to work with Interpol, because you might, okay, let me give you an example. Owerri, Imo State in the southeast, is like 5, 6, 7 hours from Benue State, which is in the north central, from Kogi State, which is also in the north central. Well, we found out that some people were coming. The public relations person said some of the fleeing inmates who returned on their own came back from that far. Within 2 days, they left. So that tells us something, that these fleeing inmates will go far. They could travel far, even outside the country. So that's why the federal government needs to partner and work with Interpol on this.
Okay, this may have caused some significant consternation in Nigeria. I mean, 1,800. It's pretty a jaw-dropping number. And what was the motive behind it? Was it simply to break people free, or there was something more sinister at play here?
No, basically, since we don't have any group that's taking responsibility for that attack, so we might not be able to say the motive behind the attack, But the security challenges in the southeast in recent times have continued to give political leaders and security agencies sleepless nights. That's in recent times. We have 5 states in the southeast. We have Imo, Abia, Enugu, Ebonyi, and Anambra State. And in recent times, they've had their fair share of security challenges. Just yesterday, the 5 governors of the southeast met here in Owerri to set up a regional security outfit, which is codenamed Ibubagu, that will coordinate the activities of local vigilantes, and to also collaborate and partner with security agencies to bring to its barest the crime in the zone.
Okay.
So it's presently we don't really have any group that's taking responsibility. So you might not know the motive, but government on their part, they're putting all dotting their I's and crossing their T's to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I mean, thank you very much. Ayutepe Kuteye is a Channels TV correspondent for Imo State, southeast Nigeria, where this massive jailbreak happened, which has now become a matter of some concern for Ghana tonight. My colleague, Gifty Andapia, who heads the security desk, joins me in the studio now for a brief chat on the challenge with our borders currently on a night when the Immigration Service is asking you, members of the public, to also be vigilant and report any suspicious activity of foreigners attempting to cross into Ghana to the nearest police station, immigration office immediately. Gifty, we did this fascinating piece of work across the country's borders called porous borders.
Right.
What do we know as far as how tough this is going to be in trying to policing these areas to prevent these from crossing in?
Well, the good thing I must start with Evans is that we know that Ghanaians know each other. Those who live across the borders, they know each other. Some people know people, so it's very easy to tell who is behaving suspiciously and who might not be from here. And that's one thing that the Ghana Immigration Service today is counting on to deal with this problem. But in terms of the challenges that we discovered with this, we went to all 10 across the country. And I'll highlight for you the issues that we found we had. Key among them was smuggling. And there's a lot of smuggling from one place to the other because you can't really regulate. There are parts of the borders that you can't really regulate. It's like I live here and next to me is Togo, which is the place where I work. So we found out there's a lot of problems with smuggling, extortion, and sometimes contestation over boundaries. And then there is lack of security collaboration, which became a big deal. So the security people in Ghana are not collaborating with Togo. And that's where we need what we need right now. So if you take what's happening in Nigeria, the security agencies around the borders really need to collaborate to be able to share information so they can pick up on some of these things. So that's one thing that we found. And there's terrible living condition of the people who work there, the immigration officers who work there, which means then that if you have not resourced your people well and you have not given them good living, they are prone to bribery, they are prone to extortion, they are prone to not doing their work well when it comes to network problems. So sometimes they have issues. Some of them told us sometimes you have an issue and you want to call headquarters and report, but you need to travel, you need to climb a tree to be able to get internet connectivity. So when we did the story, we were told that they were going to provide them a lot more vehicles, a lot more motorbikes, so that those who can't connect easily can use their motorbikes when they have to connect with other officers. And then they were going to deploy many more officials. There's the Operation Conquered Fist, especially in the northern part of the country, where we were told it will be expanded and that they will send a lot more security agencies to that area. I don't know the update on that yet, but at the vetting, we were told by the National Security Minister as well as the Defense Minister, the Interior Minister, that they were building military bases in some of these places. Yeah. So hopefully that might work.
Talking about military bases, we are learning tonight from the Head of Public Affairs of the Immigration Service on the back of all these developments that these unapproved routes that you discovered, they are turning some of them into permanent crossings that's going to be manned by some of the immigration officials. Listen to him.
We have decided that for some of these unapproved routes, we're going to now make them a legal point of entry by establishing bases there and constructing offices and putting permanent officers there than patrolling up and down, so that then we can concentrate on the other areas. Because when you find point A as an unapproved route, definitely the smugglers and other miscreants may take about 3, 4, 5 kilometers and create another unapproved route.
So that is the Head of Public Affairs at the Immigration Service, Michael Amakwata. Dr. Emmanuel Sowate is a security analyst and joins us on the telephone line right now. Doc, I mean, you're following what is happening tonight when the Immigration Service is asking the public to be on high alert and report any suspicious movements of foreigners across our land borders to the nearest police and immigration posts. And what's your reaction, considering what has happened in Nigeria? Nigerians themselves are now bringing in Interpol to track down these 1,800 convicts.
Okay, so you are sure of the word convicts?
Yeah,
or there are people in jail? Because I'm saying that because of awaiting trials. There are a number of people who await trials across Africa, across the world.
Yeah, I mean, the Nigerian IGP in a statement describes them as convicts.
Okay, that sounds strange, but let's take it up from there. Your question is that what is the security implication for Ghana, isn't it?
Yes.
Or what are the security implications?
Yes, Dr. Sowate.
Yes, fantastic. Okay, so a number of things. The first thing is this, that the FAB region is struggling. I mean, from the Sahel to Nigeria to the coast, we are all struggling. If you have opportunity, read the Accra Initiative for Countering Terrorism in West Africa, the Accra Initiative. I think that sets out in quite broad framework how states can harness resources and expertise to combat violent extremism. That's the first thing. Now, in terms of this particular jailbreak, I was in Nigeria and I work with an international organization. I work with the UN specifically. I was P5. And when I took over my position, just 2 weeks, the Chibok girls were kidnapped. So I was thick and thin in that Chibok thing, at least in the first 3 months, in terms of the UN country response. Before then, I was in Bakassi with the same UN Office for West Africa. Now, when I was in Bakassi, these jailbreaks, in terms of at the peak of Boko Haram's insurgency, at a point was common. And so, for example, medium security prison institutions or facilities and maximum security had changed in a way that maximum security was now the minimum security, because when Boko Haram was attacking, a maximum security, they came in hundreds. And sometimes they came with RPGs and tanks and light machine guns. And it was overwhelming firepower and intelligence that they operated on, above the strategic and the tactical level. Now, when these prisons were being designed, the prisons were designed in a particular context, in a particular risk analysis. Why am I saying that? As the sub-region is evolving, depending on how these extremists are counted or addressed, what will happen is that as Ghana, we need to start thinking of enhancing certain security features, hardening certain targets. One of it is the prisons. Because you see, when such people run away, and assuming they are convicts, I'm very skeptical that the 1,800 are all convicts. But if they are convicts, and you assume that some will come here, why would they come here? And what ideas are they coming to share? I think that for us as a country, one, we need to understand that the strength of Ghana is dovetailed so much into the other states we have. And that means that we treat people with dignity and respect. If, for example, one state is being too heavy-handed, heavy-handedness is also one of the facilitators for mobilizing and for sustaining and for fighting terrorism. Grievance is very important. So if people are fighting based on perception of injustice, and they are using that as a package to recruit people, recruit personnel, recruit resources, recruit intelligence, if you want to counter such a group of people, you need to combine in a very sophisticated way both the soft approach and the hard approach. If you think that every person from a particular country is a potential criminal, if you think that every person from a particular country is a potential crook, if you are not careful and you increase that animosity, the room you have to mobilize such people, the room you have to recruit such people to provide intelligence in different ways, you lose it. The other thing is that such people will then bear grudge, share with other people in other places, and such information will be repackaged and used against you. So it is very, very important that in fighting terrorism, you don't only think about the heavy things, that is military camps, arrest people, these groups are terrorists, stereotyping. You need to be very, very, very careful. And I think that for us, for now, this 1,800, because I was in Nigeria, it's not new to me in terms of the dimensions, in terms of the effrontery of the people who attack, in terms of the potential impact. I'm not surprised. But I think that in our response, the first thing we have as a country is that at least, at the minimum, we have time. What do I mean by time? Let me explain. We have time to gradually start changing cultures and subculture of the security sector broadly defined. We have time to train people. We have time to change some of the things that we have been doing in the laissez-faire manner. We have time. When I say time, let me explain what I mean by time. Time relative to a place like Nigeria that are thick and thin of it. So that is the time that we have. And I think, lastly, discussions on the media is very important in terms of making sure that the media plays its oversight well. So, for example, what you just said will bring to us another perspective from Nigerians in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And they will bring to us a dimension that we might not have when we are outside. And once you have that, in terms of you, the media, having networks, you are able to play your oversight. And when I say oversight, I have in mind particularly, human rights and of course, parenthetically, humanitarian laws, adhering to this.
Yeah.
Adhere to these basic tenets, repeating myself, you will be using soft power or the soft security approach in ways that reinforces the hard one. I'm not saying the military Bugatti Kerry type of thing is not important. We always need that power and violence. The state needs a minimum level of violence. I believe in that. But you need to combine that fairly well with the soft one.
Yeah, and I guess it's why tonight the Immigration Service is reaching out to residents along the borders to help the service in identifying foreigners who may be crossing in, and so we can screen them against the list that we may have of these 1,800 who escaped from the prison former warrior. I'm grateful, Dr. Sowate, for your time here on Joy 99.7 FM. News starts now.